Hello there again, my good YouTubers. Welcome to the next series of Gentoo videos. In the series, today we're going to actually talk about package.mask. Pardon me. So this is the package.mask file, very similar to the previous package keywords file, but in this file we're talking about masking packages. Now, what we do in the package mask is we put files in here that we do not want Emerge Portage to install. So if there's something in the Portage tree that Emerge is pulling down, whether it be a version of something or a program that we just do not want Portage to install, maybe it's a closed binary file, it's, you know, you don't agree with the license because it's not like GPL version 3 or version 2 or whatever it is, you basically mask the package, and that stops it from being installed. We can also manipulate versions in the package mask so that we can allow lower versions to actually be pulled in and installed, but block particular specific versions that, let's say for instance, are broken, that don't work on your system, or don't compile, or don't do anything, or they cause conflictions with other software that you've got installed. So you are able to put it into package mask, and that allows Portage to avoid that package. So what we're going to do is going to take a very quick look at, I mean, this is my package mask of things that I've masked in here, and obviously it's not very big. These, you know, I think you very rarely, running on a Gentoo system, you have to mask packages. Sometimes you have to mask quite a few when things are broken or not working. Maybe it was an update that was done in one package which then sort of bunks out several others. But put simply, the you know, they will only last like the short time until either yourself fixes that bug, that problem, figures it out, or upstream, or somebody else, you know, in the community of the human race around the world that uses free software, fixes the problem and the update comes down, and therefore that makes those packages that have been masked, in a sense, you know, obsolete. So you can remove them, and then, you know, things can continue. Again, the same rules apply with the equals and the upward arrows and the downward arrows for masking, you know, version files. Like for instance this here, which is the sane backends. Sane backends version 1.0.24-R1 was broken for me on my system. So what I did was I specifically only masked that version, so that the sane backends, whether it be a higher version or a lower version, could then be installed, which worked perfectly fine. It was just version 1.0.24-R1 that didn't work on my system, hence the reason why I've only used the equal sign, just to equal that version only. So that version particularly of sane backends will not be pulled in by Portage or the Emerge program to update or install packages. The same goes here for the this is open file system kernel point module from the net file systems, you know, packages, version 1.6.2-R1. again, it's got the equal sign on it, which basically means that only that version of this will be blocked. So that's basically what that means. And obviously, just to recite on what, if you haven't seen the previous video, these little hash signs before the packages, these are comment marks. So anything that we put after the comment mark then that won't be taken into consideration. The emerge will completely, totally ignore that line. I could type anything after here and it won't break anything because it's a line that's completely, totally ignored by the package manager. If I take that out, obviously, then things change. And obviously interesting, as you can see on this one, I'll just move it away from that so you can see, I've actually got this little lower arrow with the equal sign, exactly the same as it was in the previous videos I did on the keywords. This actually means that any version less than or equal to this version 2.3.5-R8 from the Gentoo overlay will be blocked. That's what I've said here. I've blocked it, you know, on those grounds. Obviously I've commented that out because I've removed the Gentoo overlay. And obviously I'm going to be doing a video, there's more videos to come, on overlays and understanding overlays. As you can see here, I've actually masked the system Portage, everything from Portage updates to that come down from the Gentoo overlay. I don't want obviously they seem to be problematic at the moment with the packages I have installed, so I've blocked all Portage updates from the Gentoo overlay. But again, this is kind of obsolete at the moment because I actually have removed the Gentoo overlay. But just to sort of indicate, really, see if this actually comes up in the video. This is just to indicate how these work. As we've got the let's say for instance we're going to do Adobe Flash. Now if I type in an emerge command here, I always use a V, and I'll do another video exactly on all of the options of emerge. What this is saying here is emerge option A and V. A stands for ask and V stands for verbose, so it'll give us out a very detailed information of the package and ask us, do you want to continue, yes or no, with merging the package after it's done its thing and searched through the actual package files. So let us put in Adobe Flash, which is here, and let's see what happens. These were the current settings, and remember the little hashtag here comments out this line, so this line is actually being ignored at the moment. So the package manager is just going straight through to see whether there is this package Adobe Flash available, and it'll output us the verbose information, and because I've put the A there, it'll ask me yes or no, is this you going to want to install this or not. So there's nothing, basically the Adobe Flash program is not masked at the present moment. And what I want to show here is that while it's not masked, obviously it'll pull it down, it'll tell me whether it's installed or needs a rebuild, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask the Adobe Flash plugin, and then I'm going to run this again so that you can see exactly how the package mask file affects the Portage update system, so you can get a good idea of how it works. In a few moments, with a bit of luck, it should pop us out. There we go. Now, as you can see, I've already got it installed. As I say, it's an actual e-build with the R here. The R stands for the fact that it's going to be rebuilt if I continue. If it's not installed on the system, then this will have a green N here, a capital N, meaning it's a new install of the package. And obviously it has the package and confirms with the reference number, because obviously, as I say, I've not got it masked at the moment, or blocked. You know, you can call it, we call it masked, but in effect you're blocking it. The further thing here is, obviously, like with the furthest videos, we were talking about use flags. Because I've specified the V, we are now in verbose mode, so we can see what use flags it's taken in. It's actually using the KDE, because I use KDE. So I've got the use flag KDE specified. Also, as we spoke in the use flags, we've got the SSE2, which is the Intel instruction that the Adobe Flash plugin can use. So that is actually enabled on this with the use flag, and obviously the ABI, which is the architecture of x86, is actually on the 64-bit, and as you can see, if it wasn't 64 you'd be choosing 32, which is obviously got a minus in front of it, so you can actually see the use flags again from the previous video actually in action here with this package mask. Now, because I've already got it installed, there's no point in me, proceeding with that. So I'm going to click no on that, and then what we're going to do is, if we move this out the way for the moment and we come back to the file here, if I remove this that little hash, just save that file. Let's bring this window back, and then we shall run that same command once again, and we shall observe the output now that we have, in a sense, blocked or masked the Adobe Flash plugin. As you can see now, what's happened is that we've now got a little red hash here, and the version is exactly the same. Obviously everything else indicates the same, but it also says here, the following mask changes are necessary to proceed. See the package unmask or whatever, which is actually the other file when we want to unmask something. But because we've actually masked this locally, which it actually states here, this is where it's it can't proceed with the installation. It's, as I say, it's actually outputted and it won't install. If you were doing an emerge update world, it won't output this particularly. If you wanted to ignore this message, then what would happen is you would actually have to uninstall the current program or the current file. And let's say, for instance, let's do that now. If we uninstall, and this is actually how we uninstall on Gentoo, we use the option C. We can actually ask and verify if we try that, and then Adobe Flash like this, and this technically will remove it. And as you can see, it's verbosed the information first, gave me everything I need to know about it, gave me some extra little information about depth clean, which is obviously going to be another video to do, because there's quite a lot obviously in this. But then you as you can see here, it's asked me, would you like to unmerge these packages? Because in the command here I selected ask, verbose, which gives me the output, and then C, which is actually the option we use to uninstall a package. So let's go ahead and uninstall this just for the sake of it, and then try and reinstall it so you can see exactly what's happening and how it works. Obviously this is the unmerge process. It goes through, rips it out, and let's go back to try and emerge the program again and see what happens. Now I know there's no lower version of the Adobe Flash in the Portage tree at the moment, and the just before we look at this, but the only version that's actually there is 11.2.202.336. That's the only version that's in the Portage, because it seems like Adobe don't want distributors to actually have older versions stranded around on their servers. The joys of proprietary software again. But as you can see here now, what we've got is we've got a nice little bright green N, which means that it's now not installed, it's a new package to be installed. Again, we've got the hash mark, meaning that it's actually locally masked. because we have got it locally masked in our mask file. There is your entire information. Now when you do a world update, it won't include the Adobe Flash in the world update because it's now not installed. The only reason it's giving me this is because I've actually specified to try and install it. That is the only reason that it's outputted it like this. Now if we move this back over a second and we go to here and I comment this back out, so we put a comment there. Now remember, when we put a little hash sign on there, remember it is to force Emerge Portage to ignore what it is in that, or what it is that you've got listed after, in that line, in that sentence. If you had 2 sentences, you'd have to put, at each sentence you'd have to put a hash. Now as you can see, it's not complaining to me about the mask changes or anything like that. It's giving me, no, it's all green, the little hash signs disappeared, and it's got the total 1, package 1, new size of download 0 kilobytes. The reason it's 0 kilobytes is, strangely enough, because it's found the source file already in the Portage download directory. It's actually already on my hard drive because I've already had it installed. It's already pulled it down from the mirrors, the mirror servers, and put it onto my local hard drive. So we shall just process this as an install, just to show you a good example of basically what it goes through. Again, A and V, because it was the asking the questions or whatever. This is a closed source binary, so it's not actually compiling anything. All it's doing is, running through. It says, compiling source, but there isn't any source. It's basically just opening up the tarball and putting the binaries in the right places on the hard drive, and then outputting exactly where they go on here. As you can see, the user share icons, the different resolutions for those icons particularly, the Netscape browser plugins, which is so it works with browsers like Firefox and so on and so forth. This program here, this is the control module for Adobe Flash. When you go into KDE, for instance, you can go into system settings, and there is an option to set options for the Flash plugin, how it handles files and how it handles things through the KDE control panel. So that's actually what that is there. So you can see everything that Emerge has done to install this binary package, and then it's completed with its merge here, recording the packages installed in the world update so it can keep a date of it, and Bob's your uncle. That is it. That has completed it. So as you can see, you can actually see a working example of the effects of sticking particular packages into the package mask. Now, one thing you've got to note, which I didn't mention in the previous video, is that you can see these have like GNOME base and then GDM in front of them, because I don't use the console GDM manager. We have to put the actual location of the packages in front of it. For instance, this Gentoo system D integration, which is what I don't use, is located in the folders on the Portage system of sys apps or sys-apps. You have to put that. I can't, let's say for instance, take that out. Let's just cut that out, for instance, and then leave it like that. I can't do that. That won't work because it hasn't got the folder specified. So it's very much like anything else. You need to have the folder in front of it where it's located specified for it to find the package. And obviously, you don't have to put etc. Portage, or anything like that in front of it, because that is a what they call a global specified directory. It knows to look in that directory, but each package is in its own subdirectory inside there. So what you have to do is actually specify the subdirectory of that package, followed by the actual package, and maybe a version number if you want to specify that version number. And that's basically how the package mask works. Package unmask is exactly the same, in that obviously when we were looking on here, if you've seen on here, where did we have it? Let's find one. There we are. We've got as you can see, we have a masked package. Now, because I masked it locally, if I went over and then unmasked it in package unmask, okay, then the two would conflict each other. It'd be stupid to do that. The reason we have a package unmask locally is because the upstream could actually mask this package, for instance, from the server, because it's known to break every system that it's installed on. So a developer or whatever would actually mask the package, globally from the mirror, from the server, the remote server, to stop it from being installed on people's systems and breaking their systems due to that. And then if you wanted to unmask it and ignore what the developers said in the from upstream, then you would use package unmask, and that would basically revert the changes that the developer made on the server and allow the package to be installed anyway. So you're not dictated to by the developer, but the developer obviously masks it for a reason, because it don't work. But if you think, well, no, I'm going to get it to work, then you use package unmask, and we can unmask that file from the from being masked from the the remote server. And if we look at this, we could if we open up package unmask, let me just catch this in here. If I open up package unmask, which is here, I have actually only got one file that's commented out. If you look in here, this is actually commented out. I had, during the version of NVIDIA drivers of version 331.20, they were broken. We've moved off this version now, we're on a different version. So what I did was I wanted the higher version of the driver. As you can see here, I've commented it out now because it's obsolete, but basically what I've done is I've gone anything less than or equal to the NVIDIA drivers for version 331.20, okay, will be installed, because this is the package unmask. So what I've actually done is I've unmasked all versions lower than this, if you think about it, because it, unmasking all versions equal to or less than the version 331.20. So yeah, I was playing around with I think there was the high version. I think it was version 332. I can't fully remember now. I think it was 332 point something. That was broken, so I wanted to unmask all the other ones, because the other ones had been masked for some reason. So as you can see, these two files, package mask and unmask, give you this powerful ability to manipulate what packages you want installed and what packages you don't want installed on your system in a very in full control kind of manner. Do take and do pay deep attention to what packages you are masking and unmasking, because sometimes certain version numbers that are buggy can be very buggy, and you could probably, let's say 2 weeks down the line, forget that you'd unmasked a package that was potentially in beta, but potentially a problematic package, and you'll be chasing around your system going, well, why is it breaking, why is it crashing, why is it doing this, why is it doing that? And then you totally forget that you've actually got a package in here that's unmasked. Obviously mine's commented out, so it's been ignored, so this is actually obsolete, so I can actually delete that and save it. It's not going to do anything whatsoever because I had it commented out. You must get the arrows and the equal signs and the commenting out on these lines drilled into your head when you're using Gentoo, because it literally is, it's the, so in a sense, it's the brains of getting the software on and off your system. In a very powerful manner. So that's basically what the package mask and unmask is. And I've pretty much managed to cover both these package mask and unmask files in one video, which is kind of good. But put simply, these files don't grow very large. It's the package keywords and your use flags that grow as your system goes on. These don't grow very much at all. Occasionally you only use these sometimes to actually fix a system, or enable or disable Portage from pulling in certain versions of closed source binaries. Obviously in my case it's Adobe Flash. I mean, that is just that is probably one of the most problematic, troublesome packages that I've ever had to deal with, really, on a on a Linux system. It's a bit of a pain in the arse. And seeing as Adobe have ceased upgrading support for Adobe Flash on Linux systems, the only thing we get is updated security fixes. We get nothing else. So they've pretty much dropped support for Adobe Flash on Linux, which that's up to them. And this is one of the reasons why on the Linux and GNU software platform we are working and looking on alternatives and hoping that HTML5 web player actually takes off. And people start converting their site to use it, because seriously, this Adobe Flash is more trouble than it's worth, for users like us. But obviously, as I say, you can see the how the package mask and unmask files work, and you can obviously see how they worked in action, which is it's quite exciting. A very, very powerful tool at your disposal to get things done very quickly. And as you can see, people go on about, oh my god, it's going to take ages. It actually doesn't. Once you know these basics, I suppose it takes a little while to learn the basics, but so does any operating system. So does even using Microsoft Word, or using any application. No matter what it is, Adobe Photoshop or anything like that, they take time to learn and take time to figure out how to use, and that's it. But once you've figured it out and you know it, it's the things become second nature then, and it's actually very simple. And that and that's what these videos are for, to sort of help anybody out there to be able to get their head around these things very easy and simply, so they can actually focus more of their effort on living their life and enjoying the their computer and software and the internet and the freedom of the web. I mean, that is the main purpose here. So I think that's all for this video, my good YouTubers, and I shall look forward to speaking to you in the next video, where we're going to actually talk about the package use file, which, in brief, just to give you an idea, is where we can specifically control and enable elements of particularly specific packages, which gives us further more control over what we want installed on our system or what we don't want installed on our system. I shall see you in the next video, my good YouTubers. Take it easy and have a good one.